Shock Monkey Radio is entertainment for adults, by adults, and the views and opinions expressed here do not reflect upon the sponsors or FXBG Public Radio. For additional information, please refer to the United States Bill of Rights. Stand warned.
Tune the madness down the rage. The world's a jungle stage by stage. Shock Monkey Radio. Feel the static, let it go. Shock Monkey Radio. Twist it down and lose control.
Frozen. Are we live? All right. So I had a friend, my friend Eric, different guy. The old one, my old friend Eric. He's old as dirt. He was like a kid during the Holocaust. But he was talking to me. He said, "You know, you really shouldn't." This is how he talks. You really shouldn't date or flirt with girls who watch your videos on the internet. I was like, well, why is that? He goes, well, you know, I know you've seen the comments on some of your horse videos. There's a lot of people very, very angry at you for the horse thing. They could be trying to get revenge. It's like, you think somebody's going to, like, pretend to date me, like flirt with me so they get close to me and, like, I don't know, break my heart because I don't like horses? That's certainly a possibility. I mean, that's best possible scenario, I suppose. You could, it could be worse. They could just want to get close enough to kill you, after all. Over the horse issue, just to get revenge for the horses. You've seen the comments, and I was like, oh yeah, Eric, I saw them today. There was one today where somebody's like, all caps, one of these horse worshippers commenting on my video, said, horses are not evil. You're evil. Evil. Because you'd hate horses. And I think Eric has a point, you know, You can't trust a pretty woman, Mr. Lario, especially one interested in you. My friend is Magneto. Welcome to Shock Monkey Radio. I'm your host, the Madman. I have a Patreon. Please go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio and become a patron today. There is no way in hell that this channel is ever going to be monetized on YouTube because I don't jump through their hoops. I appreciate them hosting my videos and everything like that, but there's no way I'm making money through ads on here. So I guess I can I provide you on YouTube a ad-free experience. So I just go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio, become a patron today. Or you can send me money through Cash App. Use the hashtag shockmonkeyradio, all one word. And you can follow me on social media up there. Excuse me. So we got some new lights, some new equipment and stuff like that. That's great. EK says, oh, it's going to make you look better. And I was like, I don't know. It's only so good I can look. So, yeah. There's going to be no live show next week. I just want to tell you that up front. EK has how many, like 72 hours you got to serve in prison? And it's 100, you said? I think maybe, did you say honeymoon? Why did I think it was prison? Anyway. So EK's going off with the missus to go spend some time with her, by all means. And so we're going to take off from a week off from the live show next week. And, you know, I'm not going to sit on my laurels such as they are. I'm going to put something out, maybe some Madman Watches body cams or something. You know I can't not create. If I do not create, bad things happen to my brain. That's why they call me the Madman. Okay. Speaking of last week's show, somebody said, you brought up the point when you were talking about Jesus, that, yeah, God made horses. God made horses. So, does that mean you don't trust God's creation? You don't trust God to know what needs to be put on this earth? And I'm just like, yeah, God made horses. God also made volcanoes and hurricanes and uranium. Why do you think he made those things? To challenge us. Well, you could argue that volcanoes can constantly give us new earth to live upon. Every time volcanoes, it changes, the land kind of wipes things clean. You could say that hurricanes do that too. wipes things clean and just creates, I don't know, new land, fresh land, I suppose, for us to build upon. It challenges us as human beings. Yeah, God made volcanoes, but there's a purpose to it. You know, it creates the magnetic field, the lava and stuff like that. All because of the magnetic field, all keeping us here on this earth, producing beautiful aurora borealis, creating this magnetic field that protects us from the sun. You know, God made all of that, hurricanes and volcanoes, and even put uranium here. Why? To challenge us. To say, hey, maybe we shouldn't play with that uranium stuff too much. You know, and say maybe there was a time in human history where we needed horses, but we don't anymore. And from what I remember from Genesis, God gave man dominion over the animals. So if it gets to a point where we're like, hey, we don't need the platypus anymore, we could say we don't need the platypus anymore. Same thing with horses. We can get to a point where we say we don't need horses anymore. We are technologically advanced beyond the need for horses. And so let's just get rid of all of them. And it doesn't, you know, all you got to do is all the geldings. All of them geldings. Real simple. Just EK's singing Q Lazarus. I can't, you know, if we use that, you'll get a copyright strike hardcore for using that song. I was thinking about doing a video using that song, but you'll get a hardcore copyright strike. They're like, Q Lazarus is like Prince. They'll sue the pants off you. And I don't have any money, so. So, I mean, you know, I feel bad for bringing up the platypus, because the platypus is pretty damn useless, but it's also like a really silly creature, you know. It's like, I don't want to kill all humans because humans make me laugh, you know, the annoying ones maybe, but I mean, you don't want to wipe out all humanity just because a couple dicks, you know. All horses are evil, you gotta take them out, but at least humans, they provide me with entertainment. They're hilarious, you know, frequently, you know, so, and that's what I think about the platypus. Platypus is pretty useless, but I think it's cute, it's silly. It's a fur thing that with a duck bill that births eggs. It's absurd. God made that too. All right, let's switch the subjects here. Been a while since we did How to Man Up. And usually when I do these segments of How to Man Up, I talk about things that I feel like made me a man. And one of the biggest things that made me a man was joining the Navy. And so How to Man Up, you need to go on an adventure. That's all there is to it. A lot of people can get that, like say if you go to college and you start, that's where you start like living on your own for the first time and making new friends and maybe join a fraternity and stuff like that. You gotta learn how to feed yourself. You gotta do your own laundry and so forth, and get to a point in living where you're not just like calling mom all the time. Say, hey, should I just ship my dirty laundry to you? You know, and so although you can find that kind of realization in college, a lot of people don't. They end up like dropping out and going back home, and you know, you really got to commit to the adventure. And I think that was what was great about the Navy. I promised 4 years of my life minimum. And that's all I gave. But, you know, to going on this adventure. And I remember being at boot camp. It's like, well, I got to see my way through this. You know, and, yeah, I mean, I could write letters back home. My dad wrote me all the time, you know, giving me encouragement, Bible verses and stuff like that to help me get through it. Because it's not easy. It's not easy being a young man, and you got to find your way in the world. You can't live in your parents' house forever. Although, the irony is not lost on me from where I currently live. So, I mean, you have to go on an adventure. I think, like, even Abram in the Bible, or Abraham, I think he was, like, quite old. He was in his 40s before he was, or am I thinking of Moses? Anyway, before God called him to go do something. And, you know, you need an adventure to become a man. You need to make your, you know, get a good look at the world. You participate in it. You know, try to find your own path in it by yourself. You know, a man needs to learn how to stand on his own, and the best way to do that is to go on an adventure. You know, join the Army, join the Navy, join the Marines, join the Merchant Marines. You know, I was talking to this guy about, like, mercy ships. These ships that go around like they're just little floating hospitals. They treat people in like third world countries and stuff like that. Go do something like that. And as men, you kind of need that adventure, or you're not going to develop correctly as a man. And I see it in some of these people because there's a lot of men who like I don't know if they go to school or what they do. They're work some crappy job. They're living at home. They maybe get an apartment with some friends or something like that. But then, they're never very far from, people that can help them. When I was in the Navy, I was hundreds and thousands of miles away from, my family and so forth. And so I had to rely on the people around me and be nice to them because, I may be in the water and I'm, hey, you guys pull me up on the raft? It's like, no, you've always been a dick, Robbins. It's like, okay. And so, you got to make your way in the world and you got to, have an adventure. You got to face the danger. You got to, physically, intellectually, you got to challenge yourself. And I think that was one thing, like, when I went in the Navy, that I was like, I always kind of knew I was smarter than most people, but I really didn't, like, feel like I was putting it to the test until I went in the Navy. Because then I was competing with other intelligent people. Believe it or not, there are smart people in the military. Quite a few, actually. And so, and that's when I started feeling really confident in my intellect and my abilities and my knowledge and so forth. And additionally, going in the Navy is like, you can't just be meek. I wanted to be in radio before I joined the Navy, but I mean, when you're scared and you're in boot camp, what's your name? Seaman Recruit Robinson. Sound off like you got a pair. You got to learn how to project. You got to learn how to use your voice because I don't know if you know this about the military, but there's a lot of big vehicles that make a lot of noise, like jet engines and the ship. Even on the ship, there's this constant hum. There's a constant sound of the AC. It's always sound all day long. Bells, ding, 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 ding. Coming over the 1MC. Secure dog zebra, general quarters, all that stuff. There's all sorts of chaos. So you got to, if you're like in a fight, there's like, can you please pass the ammunition? No, pass me the ammunition. Anyway, that's what like making you a man is all about. You got to face the physical and intellectual curiosity and challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. I'm not saying play with uranium or anything, but I mean, go on an adventure. Hey, your honeymoon might be your coming of age. You'll go on an adventure. I'm kidding. I know you've been other places. Anyway, I was thinking about this guy. His name is David Hahn. I don't know if you ever heard of him. I remember reading this story in high school, and I was thinking, man, I really need to step up my super genius game because this guy's way ahead of me. So the story of David Hahn he's also known as the radioactive Boy Scout. All right, this happened in the early 90s where a teenager in Michigan who was around 17 years old, David Hahn, he was a Boy Scout working on an atomic energy merit badge. He became obsessed with nuclear science, and he tried to build a homemade breeder reactor in his mother's backyard in a potting shed. All right, I guess it's okay to say where he got this stuff from, because of this, it's like you can't find these radioactive materials anymore in these places. He collected radioactive materials from everyday sources, such as americium, from thousands of smoke detectors, thorium from gas lantern mantles, which he burned to ash, radium from old clocks, tritium from gun sights, and small amounts, this is what's interesting, and small amounts of uranium, including some ore/pitch blend he sourced or bought. So I don't know if you ever messed with Grok or any kind of AIs, if stuff like that. Say, hey, hey Grok, if I wanted to get some uranium, where would I go to get some? That's one of those things Grok won't be very forthcoming about. For good reason, because of guys like David Hahn. All right, so he experimented in the shed, building things like a neutron source gun using lead shielding, lithium from batteries, and other improvised setups. He hoped to convert thorium uranium into fissile material. And do what with it, you super genius? You mad scientist? Anyway, the shed and the surrounding area became contaminated. Radiation levels were significantly elevated, reportedly over 1,000 times background in spots. The outcome was in 1994. I was a junior in high school. Including the EPA, authorities, including the EPA, got involved after concerns about the shed. They found it dangerously irradiated, dismantled it, and treated the site as a Superfund cleanup. Hahn had irradiated himself to some degree through handling the materials without proper protection. He didn't create a working reactor or anything close to the critical chain reaction. He simply didn't have enough material. But his experiments show how accessible low-level radioactive sources were at the time. Hahn later had other troubles, including arrests related to stealing smoke detectors from more Americans. Still at it. He passed away in 2016. Made yourself a legend, my friend, that's for sure, for good or for bad. The tale was popularized in a 1998 Harper's article, The Radioactive Boy Scout, and been covered in documentaries and books since, with a wild mix of teenage ingenuity, scout enthusiasm, and serious safety risks. You know, didn't, what's her name, Marie Curie irradiate herself too? I think she did. But you don't want to be irradiated just if you don't know anything about it. You don't want that to happen. It's terrible. It's bad. It alters your DNA. That's how crazy radiation is. All right. And this guy, you'd think if he was working on atomic energy badge for Boy Scouts, why would they have that? They expect nuclear scientists, nuclear facilities, do they look through the Boy Scouts? Who's the best for this job? You'd think I don't know, people, MIT guys, I don't know. Why would they have that? But he's working on this thing, and out of intellectual curiosity, and I think that's what I like about this guy. He was intellectually curious about it, but you'd think at some point he would have read, hey, maybe I should get a lead suit or something. And the intellectual curiosity of it is astounding to me, but you should have been a little bit more safe about it, my friend. And I find it incredibly interesting. And I think that's why I was able to tell you where he sourced those things, is because that was the problem, is these things were commonly available, especially large quantity, But that's the point. Is even the little bit that you found, he had to go through thousands of smoke detectors. You know what I mean? I was trying to come up with a metaphor for what he did is those little sticky things that you get when you get a new card from the bank and it sticks to the card, you pull it off the paper and it's like that. You could also get them on gift cards. You buy a gift card, it has a little rubbery sticky goo. You collect those. You collect all of those. Collect all as many as you can, and you melt down 20 pounds of it, and then you get just a little bit of iridium. What's up?
It's like the cookie dough from cookie dough ice cream.
Yeah, the cookie dough from cookie dough ice cream.
You save it to the very end.
Oh.
You eat that by itself.
Yeah. You're just thinking about ice cream. Anyway, yeah, don't play with irradiated materials. I know God put it here, but you shouldn't mess with irradiated materials. Don't mess with uranium. Don't mess with horses. God made them all. All right, let's do the coin of the week. Sorry, UK, I didn't know you were getting a drink. All right, 0% lucky. Like I said, it's turned out great. Starting to think it's not the coin. I think it's me.
Great pictures this week.
Yeah, I know. Well, AI kind of hurt my feelings last week because it said, hey, if you had a better picture, I could tell you more about it. It's all right. And it said it twice in there. I was like, all right. So I took a little extra time. I even went to a different location with different lighting. All right, because Grok pissed me off, hurt my feelings, and insulted me. All right, so this is a 1955 25-cent coin from the British Caribbean territories, the Eastern Group, and it's part of the British West Indies dollar system. It was issued for use in the Eastern Caribbean territories under British administration, the currency union that included places like the Leeward and Windward Islands. The British Caribbean Currency Board issued these starting in 1955, and the system lasted until 1965 when it was replaced by the Eastern Caribbean dollar. So no longer in circulation because, fewer and fewer territories in the Caribbean are owned by, then like Haiti and, a bunch of those. They still have the Bahamas, don't I don't know what they have anyway. All right, let's talk about the obverse side, the head side. The crown bust of the Queen Elizabeth II facing right, with the legend saying, Queen Elizabeth II. Designed by Cecil Thomas, initial CT in the what? Truncation. Oh, I see, okay. On the reverse side is a three-masted sailing ship, which is the Golden Hind, forgive me. The famous ship of Sir Francis Drake, sailing left. Dividing the denominations 25 on each side. Why? 25 cents above it. Eastern Group below, with the date 1955 at the bottom. The reverse designer was Humphrey Paget. All right, it's a copper-nickel alloy coin, 75% copper, 25% nickel. The weight varies from 6.48 grams to 6.51 grams and is a 24 millimeter diameter. Has a 24 millimeter. Reeded milled edge. 7 million were minted in the 1955 circulation issue, plus a small 2,000 piece proof of it mintage. Condition and value of your coin appears to be circulating condition, likely fine to extremely fine range based upon your photos. See, now you're complimenting my photography. Anyway. With some wear and toning or good detail remaining, the ship of the portrait common. For a common date circulated example like this, typical collector value is low, often 50 cents to $2 in average circulated grade, up to a few more dollars. It's a very common and affordable type of coin for World of British Colonial collectors. No major rarities, varieties are noted at a specific date. Historical context, these coins represent an attempt at economic unification among the British Caribbean colonies in the mid-20th century. The Golden Hind motif symbolized British exploration and maritime heritage in the region. The currency transitioned away as the territories gained independence or reorganized, like I said. So, some people say, why don't you, they'll look at my coins, they're like, why don't you clean them? Why don't you clean them? And if you look at like how close how great these pictures came out, it's especially because it's such a beautiful coin. I love anything with a ship on it. That's great. But you see like the dirt, it kind of like accentuates the artwork of the ship. The way it gets in under the sails there, it's almost like shading, time shading it. The problem with the obverse side is the queen's face is kind of raised higher than everything else, and so your thumb is always hitting her cheek, and so it's kind of gets rubbed down when you're holding it. Anyway, so really cool coin, huh? I don't even remember where I got it. Maybe the Bahamas. I don't know. I do have some Bahamian notes too. Anyway, that's the coin of the week. British West Indies quarter, I guess. All right, let's do a movie review. Let's Kill Ward's Wife. 2014 movie. And I don't know, the opening scene, it kind of like sets the tone immediately. I think that's what's really good about this movie. The opening scene lets you know what you're dealing with, like just immerses you immediately into the dynamic of this friend group. All right, you got like 3 couples and 1 single guy, and this is all big group of friends. And you're introduced immediately to Ward's wife and Ward, who is this, what's his name, Faison, whatever. good actor. He's like my age and in fantastic shape and looks young as hell. And Ward's wife, she's terrible in every single possible way. She is like everything a man fears. You know, you knock up this woman, you get married to her, and she has a baby, and she goes nuts. Like crazy, evil, mean nuts. And you kind of understand why everyone dislikes her, hates her. You can even kind of understand why the guys would go golfing and have a conversation about, hey, you ever think about that? Like how to get away with murder? How to get away with killing somebody? Let's discuss that. Let's discuss murdering Fred's wife, or Ward's wife. And you start to realize that, okay, you showed me Ward's wife like right off the bat, and she's just so terrible. But say then, like, you have this friend group, and one person is just so unbelievably obnoxious and terrible, and then you eliminate them, you kill them, all right? Then all of a sudden, all the other assholes start shining in the group. You know what I mean? And this is kind of what this movie is about. They discussed it. They didn't really want to, but she's just impossible. And eventually something happens and they kill Ward's wife. And what is the comedy of it? It's a comedy. The comedy of it is that there's all these little, this whole casuality of, murder and just, getting rid of a body. Everyone's so casual about it, including Ward. He's like weirdly happy that his friends did him a favor. All right. But like I said, the worst of them all is out of the picture. And so now the worst of each of them is coming to light. And so you realize, like, holy cow, all these people are assholes. After all, what kind of person would marry a woman like that? What kind of friend group would have a friend like that? Oh, yeah, a bunch of stark raving assholes. And they are. And, even the wives get involved. Say, hey, can you watch the kids while we go cut up this body? Kind of thing. And it's just disturbingly casual about it. And, additionally, you see, like, these different moral reactions for each of the characters. It's like one of them has a real hard time with it, and but the single guy, all right, he's the only one who doesn't have a wife and kids. All right, everyone else has a wife and kids, but he starts like not being able to deal with it. And in the beginning of the movie, you think he's the biggest douche of them all, and by the end of the movie, you're like, this is the only guy with even a shred of a conscience, and it's interesting because, like, for example, the wives, they start getting, how can I put this, sexually aroused when their husbands take charge, deal with the killing, deal with the body. And I think everyone knows that's true, right? It's like, why do, like, women love serial killers so much? Because it makes them hot. Serial killers make them hot. Why do serial killers make them hot? Because they're willing to kill anyone who gets in their way, And for a woman, it's like, oh, he takes care of business, Regardless if it's right or not. It's like, if somebody pisses me off, I can go tell Charlie Manson about it, and Charlie Manson will take care of it. And so, I've seen it like when like two guys fight over a woman. The woman will be sitting there, she'll like, you know how wet I am right now? She uses a female voice, obviously. It turns them on. It really does. And I find that aspect of women to be disgusting. And I find kind of people who would murder somebody and get rid of their body to be pretty disgusting people. Just a real bouquet of assholes in this movie. And I like it. I like it for that, because there's a lot to laugh at when it comes to a real bouquet of assholes. And so it's... And then you start to realize, like, oh my God, these kids, CPS needs to come get these kids. They're in a lot of trouble. Because all these people are murderers and accessories to murder. And listen, it's not against the law to be an asshole, okay? And nobody deserves to die because they're an asshole. you know, the problem here is that the problem in this movie is that Ward never stood up to his wife. All right. And his friends never stood up to her because she was like a truly awful person, especially in public. And you also see that they never really stand up to each other. And I think that's the point of the movie, is that you need to, solve these issues early before it gets to the point where you're murdering somebody's wife. You know what I mean? You need to get ahead of these problems, be a man and get ahead of it. You can't let your, wife berate you, well, just because she has just had a kid, 6 months ago, and everything you do is for her, and she's really terrible. But that doesn't mean she deserves to die. All right? That's the point. Anyway, let's kill Ward's wife. 8 of 13 stars. Yeah, I was thinking about, like, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, how they're all horrible people, but it's interesting how they interact, And you get to see, like, the little shreds of morality that each character has, and it's, I don't know, I find that kind of writing or, interesting, and, I don't know, I think it's because most of the characters I write are fairly likable. I've never written something where everybody's a real douche. Anyway, let's get into the news worth knowing. I want a cigarette already. All right. All right, you heard about the UFC fight, right? Everybody did. So here's 5 chilling details of the alleged White House attack plot tied to the UFC event. Alleged White House attack plot included sniper ambushes and jailbreak contingencies. Officials on Tuesday released new details about the 5 suspects accused of plotting a mass casualty event targeting President Donald Trump and other high-profile officials during the UFC Freedom 250 event held at the White House on Sunday. Prosecutors allege the group, who were arrested in June during a multi-state sweep, coordinated an ambush involving explosive-laden drones intended to strike the north side of the White House. The suspects were identified as Tyson C. Proper, 19, of Ohio. Oh my goodness, these guys are all over the country. Brian Omar Roa, 24, of California. Michael Allen Thomas, 32, of California. Daniel K. Eskridge, 32, of Kidder, Missouri. And Abraham Hermosillo Alvarez, that's a good name, 31, of Omaha, Nebraska. There are 5 chilling, here are 5 chilling details, blah, blah, blah. 1, evacuation trap targeting Trump, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and Elon Musk. Officials said the group planned to target multiple high-profile officials through the coordinated ambush. According to court documents, the suspects allegedly intended to launch explosive-laden drones over the UFC arena and detonate them above the crowd, forcing panicked attendees and high-value targets to flee to a southern evacuation point. In what effectively served as pre-designated kill zone, authorities say the evacuation area was covered with 5 separate sniper teams positioned to ambush fleeing officials and security personnel. 5 sniper teams? That's 10 guys right there. How come only 5 people are arrested? All right, C2, plot to rob a military ammunition plant. Officials said the group discussed a backup plan to steal military ordnance after determining that its members lacked the expertise needed to manufacture homemade explosives. Okay, I'm starting to piece this together here. All right, safe houses, bunkers, and jailbreak plans. Conspirators allegedly anticipated an overwhelming law enforcement response following their planned trigger event. One member warning authorities would send everything they have to hunt us. To prepare, investigators said the suspects began identifying safe houses and constructing makeshift bunkers where ground operators could hide after the attack. In late May, Eskridge allegedly told the group that his rural 6-acre property in Missouri would be converted into a safe house, complete with a hidden bunker concealed beneath the floorboards of a shed. Authorities said Alvarez also identified an abandoned brick church in Nebraska as a secondary fallback position. All right, number 4, the hit lists include fueled by demonic infant sacrifice conspiracies. Okay. Investigators said the alleged plot was driven with extreme anti-government ideology, anti-Semitic beliefs, and bizarre satanic conspiracy theories. According to court documents, Thomas told the FBI agents that he believed the U.S. government is controlled by a secret elite protected by the president and sacrifices and consumes infants. All right, you understand where that rabbit hole's going, right? All right. Yeah, the rich eat babies. Okay. Massive arsenal financed by graduation money and crowdfunding. Prosecutors said a significant portion of the group's initial arsenal was acquired by 19-year-old Proper, who allegedly quit his job and spent roughly $3,000 of his graduation money to purchase thousands of rounds of ammunition, ballistic plates, an AR-style rifle, and a bullpup rifle painted with an American flag. People say those bullpups are great. You're highly... They're just ugly weapons, though. Highly accurate, but it may be longer barrel. I get it, but they're just ugly weapons. According to court documents, the suspects initially attempted to crowdsource funding for the attack. You know what? Then they probably would have found money. If you could put it like a give, send, go up and that said, hey, we're trying to, take out Musk and Netanyahu and the president and J.D. Vance maybe. Send us your money. I mean, shit, people sent money to Karmelo Anthony's family. Is that the next story? It is! We'll go to the next story. It's almost like I knew it was coming. It's almost like I made the notes myself. So, Karmelo Anthony claims he's penniless. Scroll bar, thank you. Penniless' business records tied to his parents draw scrutiny. Public records showed his parents activated a Texas business entity less than a month after Austin Metcalf's death. This is out of McKinney, Texas. As convicted killer Karmelo Anthony seeks a taxpayer-funded attorney for his appeal after claiming he is penniless. Newly reviewed public records show his parents activated Texas. Is there an echo in here? The records do not establish that any fundraiser proceeds were routed through the company. Anthony's parents have not been accused of any wrongdoing or charged with a crime. Anthony, 19, was sentenced earlier this month to 35 years in prison after a Collin County jury convicted him of murder in the April 2nd, 2025 stabbing of Metcalf during a high school track meet in Frisco. Days after sentencing, Anthony filed paperwork seeking court-appointed counsel for his appeal. In the filing, Anthony described himself as penniless, destitute, and indigent person, too poor to employ the counsel to represent me on the appeal. Anthony's request comes after a Give, Send, Go campaign launched on his behalf on April 15, 2025, less than 2 weeks after Metcalf's death, raised $633,908 before being removed from public view following Anthony's conviction. Organizers said the fundraiser was created to support Anthony and his family as they navigated the legal battle. Quote, "We are grateful for your support during this incredibly difficult time for Karmelo Anthony and his family." Organizers wrote, "The fundraiser has been established to provide comprehensive assistance to the Anthony family as they navigate the many challenges surrounding Karmelo's case." As Fox News Digital previously reported, fundraiser organizers said donations would help cover legal expenses, family relocation costs, and other needs that arose from the case when the case drew national attention. Give, Send, Go later said the funds were distributed for lawful purposes, including legal defense and family relocation expenses. Public records reviewed by Fox News Digital shows Anthony's parents, Andrew Anthony III and Kayla Hayes, have been connected to multiple business entities in Louisiana and Texas. Louisiana records show Angelic Obsessions LLC was formed in 2021 and later became inactive after being revoked by Louisiana Secretary of State in November of 2024. Texas records show Angelic Obsessions LLC became active. Well, nope. Separate Louisiana records show Exclusive Luxuries LLC, Luxury Services LLC, another entity connected to Anthony's parents, formed in 2016. Okay, I don't see how this. Decline to comment, give, send, go. All right. The point is that first of all, like the people who gave money to Karmelo Anthony, if you've ever saw the comments, the people say they're just so happy he killed a white boy, and these what's the phrase? A fool and their money are soon parted, and so they're giving money to this man just because he killed a white guy. Very, very happy. A lot of people very, very happy that a black guy killed a white guy, sending him money because he did it. So those people are all assholes and miserable assholes. I don't think that that's illegal. I would say that if the family started raising money for the legal defense of Karmelo Anthony, then the money should have been spent on that. And I think that would be a crime. That's misleading the people who donated you money, is it not? But something tells me that those donors wouldn't really care. Because you know what happened. It's just like the BLM stuff. You know, when people started donating money to BLM, what'd they do? It's like as soon as they get their hands on the money, They go and they spend it on ridiculous shit. You know, they buy an Escalade, they buy Gucci shit and blow all the money. You know how it is. You know how it is when you give an idiot money. He goes and buys stupid shit with it. Oh, congratulations on your windfall. What'd you buy? A bunch of G.I. Joes. Ooh. Wise investment. All right. Let's talk about people who actually like America and Americans. You know, I'm getting into a lot of these Outkick articles. I'm not sure I like the style of the writing. But, World Cup fans are blown away by free refills in the United States. Gen Z hits massive Vegas pot and meat. So he's talking about a bunch of stuff. This is Joe Kinsey. All right, so this is, I'm going to skip this first paragraph because he talks about a lot of stuff in this one article. But let's go to the second paragraph here. Team USA, Australia. This is Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. I want to correct the record on that. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah. Anyway. See, this writing is, let's get this edition rolling with more of the Europeans losing their minds over the greatness that is the United States. From Walmart to Waffle House and our rodeos. That's terrible, dude. From Walmart to Waffle House and our rodeos. From Walmart to Waffle House to rodeos to one more thing. And you would have been good. The Euros can't believe how much fun there is to have across the pond. They're even getting free refills and it's blowing their minds. So take this video. This video from Euro World Cup influencer Leah Ray, who is in Dallas for England's match today against Croatia on Fox at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. From what I could tell, she bought some sort of frozen mixed drink at an outdoor event for $30, which sounds astronomical, but then she found out there are free refills. She said, what's the deal with free? We like to be hydrated, Leah, forgive me. Even if it's a frozen mixed drink that has alcohol in it. That means we need to drink at least 3 or 4 of them to make up for the hydration the sugar's pulling out. At least $30. At $30, you drink 6 of those and you're talking real value. And now do you see why this is the greatest nation in the history of the world? She wasn't also only mesmerized by refills. I love how friendly everyone seems to be in America. Always willing to answer your questions when a lot of countries' tour guides have a bad attitude. She wrote on X. Never forget how great this country is and why the depressed, angry, vile libs hate such praise. They want the U.S. to be angry and mean and vile as they are. We cannot let the disgusting libs win the war on this culture. That's him saying that. That's very much opinion right there. I mean, I agree with it. You know, these people, this is the point. It's like these people are coming from Europe, which is decidedly a lot worse off than we are. And they're just, it's like they're sitting there at the fountain drink at Burger King and just filling it, drinking some, looking at the employees and they're not stopping me. Standing at Burger King in front of the fountain drink machine for hours. Mesmerized. It's like, it's free soda. It's free soda. No wonder you see all these fatties. And the fact that she says Americans are nice, that is true. It really is true. I know there's, the internet is a very different thing. Okay? Like, everyone I know personally, if we are all in like one group chat, this is why I don't like group chats, and I talk like how I do on the show, or by giving my true opinions on things, there's going to be tons of people ready to say something in the group chat. But, I don't really talk like this out in the world among people all the time. Some people inquire, and I'll give them my honest take. But generally, I'm not out there. It's like, hey, I'm really conservative, and you're liberal. You should just watch your ass, because I'm gonna call you out. It's like, it's not how we are. It really isn't. It's one thing on the internet. It's another thing at a baseball game. At a soccer match. I would say a football game, but it's pretty rowdy at football games. And, I don't give a shit about soccer. I don't give a shit about the World Cup. But I am glad that, the people who do are coming here and seeing, oh, this is why everyone in the world wants to sneak into this country. And and maybe we should start realizing is that because we are the greatest nation on earth, we should, vet who is coming into it. Kick out the people who are making it worse. You know what I mean? Because imagine how good things could be. Anyway, let's talk about this next story. Boy, EK perked up when he read this. He's like, they wrapped the story in Nerf, and I was like, yeah, that's what I don't like about Fox. They're not, aggressive enough when it comes to this kind of stuff. So, Colorado teacher fired after student allegedly pressured to kiss classmates in skits. First of all, it is a terrible headline. Independent Review found Jennifer Honka allegedly always selected same-sex students for the performances. Okay. So a Colorado teacher has been fired after investigation found students were allegedly asked to kiss classmates during classroom skits. With some reporting, they felt pressure to participate because the performances counted towards their grades. CBS News reported Monday that Denver Public Schools Board voted 7-0 on May 20th to terminate French language and cultural teacher Jennifer Honka at Northeast Early College for incompetence and neglect of duty, finding she had at times allegedly suggested that students kiss during in-class skits. The outlet reported that on April 30th, Independent Review, a copy of which was obtained by CBS Colorado, found that the students who were allegedly encouraged to kiss were always the same sex. One student told an NEC chemistry teacher about the skits in April of 2024, CBS News reported. The student was very uncomfortable and did not know what to do, the report said. She went ahead and kissed another student at Honka's direction. The student then shared a digital meme with the chemistry teacher that included a picture of Honka and the caption, "She makes girls kiss." The meme had circulated among the students. Damn. I'm taken back to high school. Imagine if I was making memes back then in high school, I would have been the coolest mother. I would have been awesome. I would have been king of the memes at my school. Anyway. Additionally, CBS News reported that one student interviewed directly in the Independent Review that also testified that Honka always selected girls to act in the skits. Despite a nearly 50-50 split among boys and girls in the same class, the student could not recall Honka choosing a boy actor. The student refused to participate and testified that she received a 0 score for the grade on this assignment. Another student reportedly walked out of the class, and an English teacher at the school testified that several students approached her as well. One of the students appeared upset and defeated, as stated in Independent Review. The student told the English teacher that she had been asked to kiss 3 other girls in one of Honka's skits. Jeez. And that English teacher, she's like the one everyone trusts. All the girls trust her. I guarantee it. According to the report, the skits where Honka asked students to kiss were titled "The Neighbors Saw Everything" and "The Boring Kiss," which is about characters who are dating. One student reportedly said that Honka had a classroom rule that went, "The answer is always yes," which was used by Honka to encourage students to participate in skits, which were bi-weekly and part of their performance grades. Honka had allegedly disclosed to the class that she was lesbian and was an LGBTQ supporter. Anyway, Jennifer Warren, the principal of Northeast Early College, filed a police report with Denver Police Department following a third student who said that there was kissing during class skits. Okay, it's gross. Yeah. I think I said last week that, even regular gays, there's an element of pedophilia there to it. I don't like this stuff. Like, for example, this is not like drama class. All right, we're acting out a romantic scene, and in this play we're doing Girl Interrupted. So so in this scene, this is what's going to happen. So you have to act like you actually are attracted to this person. It's not like it's that. It's wrong to do that as well, by the way. Even if you're in drama class and your teacher's like, we're doing Girl Interrupted, and they're gonna have a sex scene in this high school play. No. That's wrong too. But this was French class, and I took Spanish. All right, it was different, but I mean, you did skits. You did skits. It's like, okay, you're the guy running the lady at the desk at the library, and you're the guy coming into the library. And it's like, okay. And it's like, so, I'm Manuel. I'm coming into the library. Hola. ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? Aquí la biblioteca? You know, you do this stupid thing. It's like you walk into a library and ask where the library is. That's how complicated it is. It's never a kissing, you know. Oh, now you got to kiss the librarian. It's like, what? How does that work? It's like, well, you're in Spain. Everyone kisses on the cheek and stuff like that. No, it's not like that. It's like, you two girls kiss. That's what it's like. And it's weird. Super weird to, like I said, I don't care if you're gay or something like that. You start bringing it around children, that's where the problem is. All right? Because I don't know if you know kids who are like teenagers. Even though they may desire to kiss somebody, they're still terrified of doing that. All right? Many people are. I guess some people aren't scared. You know, it's not something to play around with, you know? It's like, what was that, Road Trip? Where Tom Green's telling those two girls to make out and touch each other and stuff like that. That's the creepiest shit ever. I couldn't imagine being a girl wanting Tom Green to tell you to do stuff like that. And this is not Tom Green. It's your French teacher. And so, yeah, stay away from the kids, you friggin' perverts. All right, let's go. We got the two happier stories, I guess. I don't know how happy this is, but Gavin McInnes is always on a kick about these race interruptions, people going to these races and causing a pileup, causing a mess. So an elderly fan on a mobility scooter sends cyclist flying through the air after driving onto course mid-race. Rider Paul Vriesman was the last to leave the scene but escaped without major injuries, journalists said. Okay, so cycling has produced some major crashes over the year. Everything from riding too closely to an opponent to unexpected obstacles can send cyclists to the pavement and cause a major pileup. I don't recall ever seeing one caused by an elderly fan on a mobility scooter, not until today anyway. The fan appears to be trying to get a closer look at the action as cyclists pass when the nose of a scooter ends up on the course. It makes for an obstacle that several riders cannot avoid, and there's no time to avoid it as the group heads past the spectators at full speed. There's no chance of hitting the brakes. It's unavoidable, and if not for eyewitnesses, you might think it was produced with AI, because the guy goes, phew, flying. The sound of the crash is almost the same as the video itself. I guess I should have pulled down the video, but I'm really hungover today, so I didn't. You hear someone yell what sounds like a car accident. The impact sends at least one of the riders flying into the air over his handlebars. According to the cycling journalist Emily, everyone involved escaped without major injuries. That's incredible, especially the rider in the orange who went flying, Paul Vriesman, who was seen doing the full front flip over his handlebars. He was the last rider to leave the scene, but he was okay. The older spectator caused serious damage, seriously dangerous incident today at Saarland Trofeo Juniors by trying to get a better look and entering the course with her rollator, as a woman, while riders were flying past at full speed. Journalist wrote the insane crash on Instagram. Fortunately, the riders involved escaped without serious injuries despite some spectacular crashes, but it should go without saying, please never enter the race course while riders are approaching. Even a small step onto the road can have serious consequences at these speeds. It's all very obvious. You know, what's funny is like events like, you know, Tour de France, any bike race, anything like that. It's such a long course that it can't really like put ropes up along the whole course to keep people from doing stuff like this. When you see like Tour de France, you see the jackasses. They're drunk. They've been sitting there all day drinking beers, waiting for the bikes to come through. Then they finally show up, and they got their shirts wrapped around their head and wearing their country's flag as a cape, and they're chasing you with a beer, and you're just, you're tip-top physical condition. This guy's breathing beer all over you. It's like, yeah! That's bad enough. But then you get some jackass who wants to get a better look, and like he's like in the aisles of Walmart, and boom, people go flying. And what was that famous one? She had the Ale Nona and Popa. And she's holding out the sign just to get on TV. The sign saying, "Hey, Grandma and Grandpa." And she ends up like knocking down like the entire race. The peloton just falls over. Like toy soldiers. Step by step. Hot to hot. Wow, that's a deep cut, huh? What was it? Martika? What was that? I can't remember. Anyway. Let's go to this last story and then we're out of here. Whoa! 456. 250. What? 1456. Okay. California couple fights off a 70-pound black bear with a hatchet and a water bottle outside their home. Mammoth Lakes police chief calls the aggressive behavior highly unusual. Yeah, it's early summer, isn't it? California couple sustained significant injuries this week after they were attacked by a black bear outside their home, according to officials. The woman opened her door in Mammoth Lakes, which is about 230 miles southeast of Sacramento in the Sierra Nevadas, around 6 a.m. on Monday and found one of her dogs fighting with a 70-pound black bear, the Mammoth Lakes Police Department said. When the woman went outside to try to intervene, the bear turned its attention to her, clawing and biting her. Oh, my God. A man then came out and was aggressively confronted by the bear as well. The woman was, grab a weapon, babe. I'm going to get a hatchet. What do you got? Water bottle. Okay. She was able to grab a water bottle and hit the bear, and the man got a hatchet and hit the barrel several times with a blunt end, critically injuring it. That was nice of him. The couple suffered significant injuries, but were able to take themselves to a hospital, police said. The dog and another dog of theirs came outside when the woman first opened the door, are expected to recover from minor injuries suffered. That's amazing. California Department of Fish and Wildlife euthanized the 17-month-old bear after determining that it was a threat to public safety. Ugh, it was a young one. Fairly young. The incidents like this are extremely rare in Mammoth Lakes. Mammoth Lakes Police Chief Dan Casabians said in a statement. He added, bears almost always avoid humans and will flee when confronted. This type of aggressive behavior is highly unusual. We are grateful that the couple are expected to make full recoveries and appreciate the quick response of our officers, CDFW, Bishop Veterinarian Hospital, and Mammoth Hospital staff. Yeah, I guess the dogs had to go to a different hospital, right? Bear sightings are common, but attacks are rare. Police added that to reduce risks of attack, people should never approach or feed bears. They should secure garbage in bear-proof containers and don't leave pet food or bird feeders outside. Hikers and walkers should also make a noise when in bear country, especially at dusk or dawn. Dogs should be leashed and supervised. If a person encounters a bear, they should slowly back away and never run. So, that's a shame. Yeah, honey, go get a weapon. I got a hatchet. I got a water bottle. EK said maybe it's a Stanley, and I guess you could argue that could be a weapon. Maybe. You know, I say that he picked up a hatchet, but he still used the blunt end on the bear. I mean, 70-pound bear isn't very big, you know. It's a shame. And that's probably why you used the blunt end. Is like I didn't want to hurt the bear, but he was going to get put down anyway. So, you know, watch out for them bars. There's bars up in them there hills. Anyway, this is going to be the end of the show. I want to remind you again that I have a Patreon. Go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio. Become a patron today. Where is it? It's right there. I would appreciate it very much. Or you can send me money through Cash App. Use the hashtag shockmonkeyradio, all one word. And you can follow me on social media at DNALETSEW. That's the word wasteland spelled backwards on Twitter. At SLRobbins13 on Instagram. And Shock Monkey Radio Redux on Facebook. This has been Shock Monkey Radio. I'm the Madman. And I love you.
The madman loves you all, from the big to the small. He loves you from afar, no matter who you are. The madman loves you all.